Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to look at Jboss transaction logs. Myself, I am Naresh Chaurasia, and let's talk about transaction object store in Jboss EAP standalone mode. Now, what is the prerequisite for this discussion? The prerequisite is that you should have EAP 6x or 7x installed. EAP stands for Enterprise Application Platform. So let us set the context for this discussion with respect to the environment, the issue at hand, and the resolution. So, as I have already mentioned earlier, you should have EAP 6x or 7x installed on your machine. Then what is the issue at hand? The issue is, how do I change the location of transaction log, which is TX object store by default in EAP 6 or 7x standalone mode. Now, this jboss.server.data.dir is the default installation directory of your Jboss. So, how do we change this? That is the problem statement that we are trying to solve. Then, what is the resolution? We will look at the steps to change the location of Jboss transaction login. So then, a very obvious question that comes to mind is that why change the location of transaction log? So the reason why you would want to do is, it could be specific to the problem statement that you're trying to solve. So let's say in my case, I want to change the location of the transaction log so that I can share that log across maybe two running Jboss instances, one after the other, of course, or maybe I want to put it in some shared drive where I can back it up, or maybe I want to put it on a cloud environment. So there could be various reasons why you want to change the location of transaction log. So then let's get into the steps and understand how we can achieve changing the location of transaction logs. So this is the directory where I have EAP 7x installed. So I will go to the bin directory here and I will go to command prompt, and let's begin with starting the server. Now, before I do that, what I want to do is I will go to this folder here. In this, there is a folder standalone and there is a folder data. So for now, as you will see, there is nothing here. I mean, of course, there were some folders, I have deleted it. Now, let me start this server for you. So to start that, you can go back to the bin here, if you will see, and there will be a file which says standalone.bat. So I'm going to make use of this file to start the server in standalone mode. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start it using standalone file, and I'll hit enter here. So it takes a couple of seconds to come up. Let's wait for the server to start. So the server seems to be almost starting. Yeah, it's up and running. Now let's validate that whether it is started successfully. So I will copy this URL here and I will open up a browser for myself. So let me bring this here. I will type this URL here and I will log in with my admin credential and I'll say sign in. So that means the server is successfully up and running. Now that the server is up and running, let me go back to this standalone folder here. And in this, you will see a data folder here. Now, there are a lot of folders created here, but the one which is of interest for us is transaction object store. So this is got created here in this directory, which is a default location when the Jboss is installed. So basically now what we want to achieve is I want to store this transaction log in a location which is other than the default directory. So for that I will have to run some commands and which I will share with you. But before I do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop my server here by saying Control C. I'll say yes here, Y, and I'm going to delete all the folders for the time being so that when we change the location, we will know that the logs are generated in a different location. Okay, so now let us look at some of the commands that we need to execute to get this thing to work for us. So for that, I will bring up my website here. You can type this URL to access the website, connect2tech.in. You can go to the blog link here and let's wait a few seconds for the page to load. So we have this page here or blog here. For the timing, you are seeing this as the first blog, but over a period of time, this will change. But if you will just bookmark this URL, maybe this URL will always remain same. So this has the steps that we need to execute to get our transaction log stored in a different location. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to execute these commands in a CLI. So I can execute any of the CLI commands. I have to make sure that I have my server up and running. So for that, I will start the server once again. So I will say standalone.bat and I'll hit enter here. So again, it takes a couple of seconds to be up and running. So let's wait for the server to start. So that seems to be pretty quick and the server is up now. Now what I'm going to do is I will go to this directory here and I'm going to execute the command jboss-cli.bat. I'll hit enter and it says you are disconnected at the moment. Type connect to connect to the server. So I will type connect and let's see the result of this. So now we are connected to the standalone server which is running on local host and the port is 9990. Now what we are going to do is we are going to execute the commands to change the transaction log. So I'll come back here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to execute this command. So let me copy this, copy, and I'm going to paste it here. Now here, if you will see that I'm choosing the path C Jboss TX log. So I'm going to create a folder in this location, or rather I'm going to create this particular folder structure which is C Jboss TX log. So let me do that. I will go here and I'm going to create that folder. So I have C Jboss and I'll create new TXLOG. So I have the folder structure also created. Now I will hit enter here and the outcome of this is success. So this is the first command which is executed. So after executing this command, how do you validate the effect of this command? For that, what I can do is I can open a standalone file which will contain an entry like this, which as is shown here. So I'm going to open this file in my Eclipse. You can go through Windows Explorer also if you want to, which will be in this location. So you can go here, you can go to standalone configuration, standalone. This is the file I'm making use of. So let's look at it here, in fact, or you can look at it in Eclipse. I have opened it in Eclipse, so I will go here. So this is standalone file here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to search for this entry. So for that, let me go here and search for TX log. Let's see if we can find that. So Let's search for that in Eclipse here, txlog. Yeah, so we have got the first entry successfully generated here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fire the next command. Go ahead and copy this command, right click, copy, and I will paste it here. Now make sure that you have this path and this same in both the commands. This is a general mistake which is made by the people. So let me go ahead and fire this command. I'll hit enter here. And again, the outcome is success. So I will now again go back to this commands link here, and you should be able to search for an entry like this, which is generated in a standalone.xml file. So let's search for that. I will refresh this so that I have got the latest. I am seeing F5. Now let me search for this entry. So as you will see here, this particular object store, which was the path for transaction object store, has got updated with this entry here, which is the value we provided in this particular value attribute, as you can see here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start my server, but since my server is already running, I'll first stop it, and then I will go back to this directory here. So as of now, there is nothing here, right? And also let me show you another directory, which is standalone data. So here there is a folder created, but this got created from my server, which I created or rather started earlier. So I will once again go ahead and delete everything which is here. So let me put these two folders next to each other so that you can see the changes happening. So let me now start my server here, which is in this directory. I will go and I'm going to start the server. Okay, so the server seems to be up and running. Let's go and see here. Now you will see that the transaction object store, for that, the directory location has got changed only for that folder which is specific to transaction logs. Others are created in default location. So basically what we have achieved is that we have moved the transaction logs to a location or a directory of our choice as compared to the server which initially was creating it in default location, which was in the data folder here. That's all in this discussion. Thank you so much for your time.